All right, I decided to just quickly do this project. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. I've done a few steps and I'll show you what I've done in a moment. I've downloaded the two files, the starter and the Figma file. I do have a paid membership. If you don't worry, you can work with images, but it's just easier if you have a Figma or a sketch file to work with. So once I've downloaded them, I'm just gonna unzip them. I'm using Windows, so let's see what we need. Images, yes. Style guide, that will be useful. Index, HTML, useful. You can see I opened the wrong file. I need the Figma. There we go. Close and get the Figma file in there. That's the steps you would do otherwise as well. I can close these down now as well. Some other code. Okay, so I've already actually looked at the Figma file and I had some breakdowns. So this red, nope, not that red. Yeah, actually it's this red. Okay, I'm just gonna put the rectangle over there. So this strong red color, that is going to be our card. This is the container, the whole thing. And then I'm gonna split this into two sections. And then if I just show them a bit more clearly. So one section will be the image, right? And the other section, of course, will be all this text. It's just to control everything easier. The image can just be, 100% width. It might have a fixed height. I'm not sure I'm gonna do this yet. Depends on the image ratio that they gave us. And then the text, you can see that I've done some calculations. So in this case, I have this padding top of 32 pixels. Padding top of 32 pixels. I know this works, by the way, if you can see. Yeah, I've already done all these checks that it's all accurate to the pixel. And then padding left and right are 24 pixels. Okay. So that's gonna be, and of course there's a max width of 327 pixels and a max of 450. Similar stuff for all the paddings. So that's the kind of stuff I usually do in the Figma files. I'm just drawing a bunch of rectangles just to have an idea of sizes and general layout. I don't usually do these red ones, to be honest. I do them in my head, but I thought why not show it. Okay, so let's just keep the Figma file here. Images, cool. Let's just open this up. So again, I'm in Windows, so I'm going to type CMD. That opens up this command line terminal, and then how can I zoom in? I'm just going to type code full stop, and that's that. It opens our VsCode for us. First thing I always do, I remove every single thing that Frontend Mentor has provided us with. Not every single thing. We can keep this. Hold on. Nope, don't want to comment that. I'm just going to comment the text out. I don't do the attribution thing because the only website I show this on is Frontend Mentor. So someone will have to click from, my solution window. And I'm just going to use normal CSS. I would use Sass usually, but just to keep it simple. So first I'm going to go styling and then main.css. So this will contain our main styling. I'm going to have one more file. It's going to be called reset.css. And I'm going to bring that from a repo I have for myself, but you could also get CSS reset. Meyer Web, that's the one. You can literally just copy this and you will get almost the same thing. I say almost, and I'll show you what's not the same. So I'm gonna paste it in here. What's not the same is custom additions below. So I've added box sizing to have border box. It's just, that's just to me the more intuitive and logical way of working with CSS and the box model. And the root, or you could just type HTML, whatever you want really. The specificity doesn't matter too much in this case. Font size 62.5%. If you're not familiar with this, it's quite simply, let's say you use rem units, which I do. One random unit is usually equal to around 16 pixels. But that is kind of complicated and weird to work with. Let's say I'm gonna have to do math in my head just to convert stuff. So if we do one rem equals 16 pixels, but then if we times this by 62.5%, we're actually gonna get 10 pixels, which, as you can imagine, this is much easier to work with, right? 1 rem is 10 pixels, or 0.1 rem is 1 pixel. So we don't have to do any math now. We're still using rem units, but we're just making them easier to work with for ourselves. And let's see what we have. All the links, I just removed, color, inherit, and text decoration, none. And buttons, I just don't want anything for them initially. So that's my reset. Let's just link our two files now. Link, styling, main.css, and above it, reset. Okay, that seems to be good. The next thing to figure out is, I suppose, let us look at the design and let's figure out what to... Is it this button, tab? There we go. Sorry, I just wanted to hide them. Alright, had some bizarre IT issues. Seems to be over now. Okay, let's have a think what we want to do. Okay, so the main container for this whole thing, I'm gonna use an article element for that. I'm gonna make the class of order summary. Happy with that, and that's the whole thing. And then we have two containers. The first container will be a div called image container. It will contain an image which will contain the illustration hero, I think, as VG. And the alt is illustration of woman dancing whilst listening to music. Oh, I don't have to do that. I'll just do that. Okay. Honestly, that would be fine for this section. We're done with that. And then the next container is, I'm just gonna call text container. You call it whatever you want, but it's to contain all of this. Okay, first thing I see is a little heading. h3.heading, seems fine. Order summary. Then we have a paragraph. I'm gonna call it description. I'm just gonna copy the text, save that. Okay. Then we've got this another container, because if we see, it's its own thing, right? So let's have another div inside. And what is this? We know it's an annual plan, so this is what we've chosen as a service. I'm gonna just call it selected service container for now. It's not the nicest name, but whatever. And then we're gonna have three things inside of it. Image. We're gonna have another container. It's gonna be just a flex column, or maybe it doesn't even have to be a flex. Okay. And then we're gonna have a button. This could be a link, or it could be a button. I'm gonna go with a button. I'm gonna assume a bunch of stuff, really. But yeah, okay, let's do that. Image. So do we have an music? Yep. I don't know. Music symbol. Music note. Hopefully that makes sense. Next we have container dot selected service. Yeah, that's fine. We have a paragraph. Actually, paragraph dot selected plan. Just gonna call it annual plan in here. Another paragraph. Let's just copy that text across. What class can I give to this? Plan price. Okay. And there's one more thing after this div, which is button dot change. I'm just gonna type change, simple as that. And that's done. Then we're gonna have another button dot payment. Proceed to payment. Another button. What other class, of course. Cancel order and cancel order. All right, we should have some stuff now. Stop live. Open. Okay, whatever. Let's see what we got here. Okay, that looks fine. Gonna just open up my inspector here. Now we're gonna reduce this down a bit. Okay, let's get started with... First, let's just do some basic styling. Yes, so what I did is I created a bunch of variables for myself. So I did this whilst having the technical issues. If I show you how I did that, I went to Style Guide, open it up side by side, and I just had a look. So all the colors, you'll see pale blue, bright blue. So you'll see all of those here. All I did is just basically copy the names and copy the HSL values for myself. The next thing I did was I went to Google, to this link, and I selected this Google phone with these particular font weights, and I just inserted it on top. Then I input that this will be the font family for the entire project. That's interesting that that shows up as red. And then I created a bunch of variables. Font weights, so you've already seen them on the right. Font size, I used clamp for all the font sizes. Why clamp? Well, because this particular font, as an example, is size 22 for the mobile. And for the desktop or tablet, it is size 28. So we know that we can either use a media query to make the font size bigger, or we can use clamp. The clamp allows you to responsively grow the font size between 2 points. So as an example, between 2.2 rem and 2.8 rem, and then you give a rule of it. This is kind of like a media query here, you know, you're giving it a rule as to when to grow basically, and what to be rather. So it's gonna change perfectly from this size to this size between I'll show you now, 375 pixels to 768 pixels. That's why this calculation is so specific. The way I did this is by using a tool I created a long time ago, where I input the minimum viewport width, maximum, minimum size, so let's say 2.2, maximum size 2.8, and it's assuming that 1 rem is 10 pixels, and I think I already explained that as to what that means in my resets. So this bit of logic here, yeah? And then I copied this value and 1.5267, 1.5267, as you can see, same thing. So that's what I did with these font sizes. Line height for body, and of course colors. Sorry. But yeah, that's kind of what I did, and that's all I did in the background. So we can just start styling this slowly now. Let's go to our project, refresh just for safe measure. Okay. First things first is body. We can add a background. I just use background. You can use background color. I'm just gonna use 222, just so it's dark and easy to see stuff. Width will be 100%. Height, rather min height will be 100 view height. Display will be grid, and place items will be center. Okay, so that's kind of what we get. We can also add some basic padding just for later. Let's just add, I don't know, 2 rem all across the board. Just so when we have a mobile size and it's really small, there's always going to be that gap on top, right? That's the reason. Okay. Now let's have a look at the mobile sizes. So the first thing we can do is style the card. Let's see. So dot summary, order summary. Background. Looks like a white background. Let's check. Yep, it's a white background. Background is white. Okay. Border radius, as I know it has one. Okay, we have 2 rem or 20 pixels. I hope I explained that as already. Yeah, I'm sure I did. So that's 20 pixels. You can see that. You can see that the image is actually not respecting those boundaries. And I saw that in someone else's solution, and they added a border radius to their image. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use overflow hidden. So anything that flows outside of our visual container is hidden, just like that. Do I want anything else here? Not really. Not right now. I can't think of... Oh yes, of course. Idiot. I'm gonna just choose a width of 90%. So that's something. Min width of 32.7 rem. I think that was. Let's see. Yeah, 327 pixels. Perfect. And let's add a media query. Add media, screen, and I use min width because I start mobile first. Pixels. And then I'm gonna go dot order summary, and min width will be 445 rem, so 450 pixels. Let's just see if that worked. Just to reset. Am I missing something obvious? Did I forget to link something? I am stupid. There we go. Max, whoops, min. There we go. Okay. So, and all of a sudden it becomes bigger. And you can see it's kind of sudden. And personally, I don't like that. And thankfully, we can fix it easily. We can just transition this with max width. And voila, look at that. That's much smoother, much nicer to look at. The next thing to tackle is this image container. And tackle it we shall. That image container. I think this is going to take very, very little code. Width will be 100%. And dot image container image. Whoops, sorry. For a second, I started using SAS. Width also 100%. And you might actually see I could have a shortcut here. Alright, and we shouldn't need to do anything else for the image. Image is done and finished happily. So, yeah, let's move to the text container now. Text container will obviously be a bit bigger. So what do we have? We know there's going to be some paddings first of all. And we know that this is going to have some flex as a flex. It's going to be a flex column. Let's do that first. First, we're going to add padding. I believe for mobile, it's 32 pixels across the board. So if I click on that 32, 24, my bad, 2.4, that looks a bit better, yeah. And then 32 and 24 again, perfect. Okay, happy with that. Display will be flex, flex flow, which is a shortcut of flex direction, and flex wrap will be column and no wrap. Align items will be center. There we go. So just so everything's nice and centered. And then justify content. I don't actually have to set this, but I like to just for my own sanity. Justifying everything to the start or the beginning of this. And I'm gonna add a gap. And someone that I wrote to actually inquired about this as a potential explanation, so I'm gonna try being clear. I always try systemizing things, and in this case I see, okay, order summary there's 16 pixels between order and summary and between the description paragraph, right? So far that's the smallest thing I saw, smallest gap. And between this description and the next element, there's 24 pixels. Never 24, never 24. Okay, so I can do this. I can do 1.1 rem or 16 pixels at the minimum, because that's what we have between order, summary, and paragraph. And then I can do .text container. And then I want to select every direct child. So in this case, the container is the white box here, and the direct children are these elements I selected, right? So I'm going to check if it's not env child 1. I also want them to have margin bottom of 0.8 rem. Or was it 0.8? 0.4. 0.8, I think. Sorry. So 16 pixels, and then this has 24. So if we just quickly look here, you can see that there are these gaps here, and all of a sudden there's actually an additional gap over here and over here and over here. Yes. And that's actually a mistake. Because I also actually can't select the last child. I don't know if this would work. I can just do this and not and last child 1. There we go. That removed it. Perfect. Yeah, sorry, completely missed that out. So if the direct child of text container is not the first child and it's not the last child, then we're going to add some extra margin. I think that's going to be slightly different, and this logic will only be useful for the mobile side, because for some reason Frontend Mentor, in all its wisdom, decided that the gaps will not be identically different. So you can see that these gaps are identical, 32 and 32. But this one, for some reason, is no longer identical. So yeah, that's okay. We'll tackle that in a moment. Which is now, because as shown before, I like writing my media queries for very specific elements. So we're gonna go for text container again. Okay, gap. And I think the minimum gap here I found was 17. Yeah, so gap will be 1.7 rem. And let's do this. If it's not the first child, not the last child, and not and child 2. Hopefully this still works. And then we're gonna add, what is it, 17, 32, we're gonna add 15 pixels. Okay, let's see if that worked. So, if I just zoom out, let's just check, let's just take our time here, make sure that it works. Okay, we've got a text container. The gap should be up 1.7 rem, perfect. H3 doesn't have any styling yet, perfect. Description, 0.8 rem, which is not perfect actually, is it? No, it's not. So .text container, and then env child 2. Margin bottom will actually be 0.3 rem, because in the design, if I just follow here again, between here and here there's 20 pixels, and if our minimum is 17, then I'm just gonna add 3 pixels, right? So that's what I'm doing here, 3 pixels. Otherwise, I should be adding 15 pixels to the other ones. So this one should have 1.5 rem, 1.5 rem, and 0. Perfection. That's literally what I wanted. It may look a bit complicated, and you might be thinking, why don't you just apply a margin bottom to every specific thing? It's just a way of thinking, to be honest. If you imagine that you have a card and it has, I don't know, 10 elements, and you can systemize it maybe with one line of code like gap, then why wouldn't you do that, right? And maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just doing this for newer people who aren't aware of Gap, maybe they're not aware of Flex. These things here are definitely worth checking in. And all of these properties are all to do with Flex and Grid. And if you don't know what that means, no problem, just research it a bit. You'll definitely find it useful. Okay, let's carry on here. Okay, perfect. Sorry, I'm just making sure I don't mess anything up. Well, I don't think I did. Oh my god. That's annoying. 327. Okay, everything looks fine. I'm not sure why I was suspicious there. No worries. Okay, we've got our gaps figured out, and now we can just easily style everything. And we're going to be using some variables here. So I'm just going to do a heading. Also, I realized just now that we could have used BEM. If you're not familiar with what BEM is you would write like this. Let's say you have this text container. I would paste that here. Put what are they, underscores? Text container underscore heading. And that's kind of how you would write it. And honestly, I think we should do that. That service container. This looks very long already. Button. This is a part of that one. Text container payment. Text container cancel. Okay. And we're going to need the HTML every now and then. Just so I know I'm not getting lost. Just gonna copy that. Okay. So, font size. We actually have some variables ready for us. Font size heading. Whoops. Let's check how that looks. Yeah, that looks fine. Font weight. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be bold. No, it's gonna be black actually. Yeah. Because it's like really thick in comparison. You can see that. We can always still check. Yes, it says black there. And I think the color would be this dark blue over here. We really shouldn't see a massive difference between black and dark blue, and that's okay. That is no problem for us. I feel like I don't have enough space. Give me a second. Something like that would be nice. And just make this a bit smaller. Okay. I don't think, yes, there was line height. And I believe I created line height. No, so we don't need line height. That means if I didn't create the variable, that means that the line height here is auto, just like that. Perfect. Next. What are we doing next, actually? Why isn't this? Oh, that's why. Sorry. Text container description. Okay. Font size. Body. Font size body. Yep. Line height. Body line height. Okay. Nice. That's looking similar already. We want to text align to center. And we want to change the color to this one. What is this one? Desaturated blue. There we go. And that looks fairly similar. Or just move it kind of there. Oh, it's this one over here. Yeah, I like that. The text looks a bit different. I'm not massive. I don't care, to be honest. I like that. I'm good. I'm gonna stick to it. Next we have this one. So text container, selected services container. That's a long Very, very long selector. Not a big fan so far, but whatever. Let's just do a background first of all. Pale blue. Pale blue. There we go. Nice. We're gonna do width on 100%. Nice. Border radius. I'm gonna guess 1.1 rem for now, and I'm gonna double click. Yep, 1.1 rem. Okay, good guess. Maybe I remembered from checking out before. It looks like we have some padding here. Let's check what this is. It looks like I done the calculation. 1.7, 1.6, 1.6, 1.6. Okay. Padding is 1.7 RAM, 0.6 RAM, 0.6 RAM. Cool. And now we're gonna do a display of flex. Flex flow will be column and no wrap. Is it column? No, it's not. It's row. Stupid. Row no wrap. Good. Align item center. Good. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna use grid for this one, just to keep stuff fresh. Okay, grid. Grid will be min content, or maybe just max content, and 1 of 4. Okay, something happened to my image. Oh, I think I know. 1 of 4. Haha, there we go. Okay, so far so good. I'm using the wrong color for the background, I think. Very pale blue. My bad. Oh, very. Yeah, it's this one. That makes more sense. Okay. Align item center. There is a gap, and the only gap I'm going to use is between these two. Music and text. Gap is 2 rem. Okay. And this change one, I just wanted. So, what's the class here? I'm just gonna select it by button and change for now. And I want this to justify self end. Yes, perfect. That's all I wanted to do. So justify end, you can use it in grid, but I don't believe you can use it in flex. So that's actually the main reason why I want to switch this up to grid. Just to control everything nicely. I could have done various things like margin, left auto, or whatever, but I don't want min content. You'll see why I'm doing that. Okay, I'll style that when the time comes. Text container, I'm just gonna select this and keep stuff. Actually, let's change the classes for the other things, I guess. Or not. That could be fine. Just I'm gonna select the image inside. Actually, I don't even think it needs any styling. Let's just right click and check the size. Nope, it's perfect. No need. Okay, what's the next element? Selected service. Okay. Selected service. Let's see. I'm just gonna add flex, display flex. I don't see why not. Flex flow will be column. No wrap. Save that. Gap. What is this? 5 pixels? 3 pixels. Is there any line height? Nope. Alright. 0.3 RAM. That's a gap. Okay, that actually looks correct. Never mind. That's it. Selected service, and then we can just go selected service and selected plan and plan price. Selected plan and plan price. Okay, let's see what we have here. So I already did this. So font, the variable font, nope. Small, I believe. Font size small. Color is dark blue. That's the one. That looks fine. And then font weight, bold, I believe. No, it's black. Yeah, that looks better. Annual plan. It looks a bit bigger. The gap looks much bigger here. That must be because, okay. It's alright. We got this. Font size small. Font weight, I'm gonna put regular. And as for color, I'm gonna put saturated. What was it? Desaturated. Okay. Desaturated blue. Something looks off in the font size. My clamp is working a bit earlier than expected. You know what? I'm gonna change my clamp stuff real quick. I apologize. Heading. So all I want to do, 2.2, 2.8, but I want to go to, I don't know, this. Change that. I change 1.5 and 1.6. Thankfully this doesn't take long, eh? 1.4 and 1.5 I assume. Oh, 1.6. 1.3 and 1.4. Okay. That should be slightly better. It's not going to be perfect like in the design, but I don't care much. I'm just going to add one more pixel of spacing. Display. Justify content center. Would that work as no line item center? Oh, justify content. Okay. Button change. I kind of feel like I'm done with that. I'm not gonna spend more time on it. And then button change. Let's see. So color, we want to bright blue. For some reason, it's called bright blue. Okay. Font weight. That looks like black. Looks like a very thick font. Nope, that's bold. I was wrong. Was I though? That looks wrong. Font size. Let's see if detail. I believe I called it font size detail. Yes, that looks wrong. Maybe it's just, no, it looks wrong to me. I'm gonna use black and see if that works. No, that does look bad. Alright, whatever, no biggie. If it looks slightly off, so be it. And you see this line. I could just use text decoration underline just to show you. That's how it would look like. But then when we hover over this button, just to show you the effect, the line disappears, and we can add a nice little transition for this line disappearing. So let's do that. For that, instead of this line, we will take position relative, and then we're gonna create a pseudo element for this button to change before. Okay, content is this, width is 100%, height is 0.1 rem, it's usually just 1 pixel, literally looks like a pixel there. For now we're just going to use background of red just so we can see it, and a second position absolute, and we're going to use bottom 0, left 0. Okay, that's slightly too wide. I know, because it's a button, there's probably some padding. So if I do padding 0, perfect. That's literally what you wanted. Okay. Let's see. Just gonna zoom in a tiny bit so you can see it a bit better. The line is too high, so bottom minus 0.2 rem. Just 1 pixel. Yeah, that looks good. And it's gonna have the same color. So I'm just gonna copy this variable. I'm gonna replace the red with it. Looks better already, right? Okay. Now what we want to happen is we want this line to just, I don't know, disappear somehow when we hover over the button. So we're gonna do transform origin. Can I do center? I think I can. And transition will be to transform to 50 ms. Okay. And then when we button.change, hover, then we select the before studio element once we're hovering over it. And we're just gonna say, I don't know, transform scale x 0. Let's see what happens. Look at that. It's much nicer than if we just disappeared straight away, I think, anyway. And then the next thing that we need to do is just change the color of this whole thing. So Frontend Mentor didn't actually supply this color, and I'm pretty sure it's not an opacity. So as you can see, it's not an opacity trick or whatever, it's an actual color. And I believe, yeah, I made a button hover color. I made a variable for that. I found it quite annoying, if I had to be honest. Button.change, transition color to 50 ms. Okay, so that's going to transition it, and then button.change over. We're just going to do color var. I'm just going to move this code over here, just so it's all chronological. Let's see. Nice. That looks okay. Yeah. We're almost there, to be honest. Almost finished now. Then we've got this last button, which is text container image and text container cancel. Whoops. Wonderful thing. Cancel. Okay. Let's style these guys. Width is already probably 100%, but I'm just gonna set it anyway. Padding. Indeed, padding. What are you? Padding is 1.5. 1.5 rem. To be honest, because it's a button, I can just leave it. The sides will always have enough space, I think. Background will be, I believe, bright blue as well. Bright blue, this one. Yep. Color will be white. Border radius, I'm assuming it's going to be the same 1.1 rem deal. Looks good, so it's probably that. Looks like a font weight of bold. Let's see if I'm right though. Nope, it's black apparently. Nope, I disagree. It must be bold. The design says black, but I'm gonna say bold. It looks better. We can copy that here. We can... I didn't do a font size here, did I? What is the font size? 1.5 rem. And on mobile, it's also 1.5 rem. Okay. So we can actually do font size 1.5 rem. And this is a bit of a mess. Font size. Color, background, border radius. I'm gonna keep that with these. Font weight, font size, and color. This color is technically for the font, right? So I'm gonna keep them together. Same font size here. I could, you know, create one selector, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. What else is? Oh yes, the color for this one looks to be desaturated blue. Yeah, looks close. Okay. And now let's do this guy. Hover. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to go with this. Background. Nope, I don't have something. Okay. Transition. Background 50 ms. Nice. Okay, that looks good. And this one has to change to the dark blue, I assume. Just gonna copy that. Change it to color. Be quicker. Hover. Okay. Color will be dark blue. Let's see if this works. Okay. Yeah, pretty sure this is close now. Let's see. Does everything look okay? I never go for pixel perfection. I just wanted to see how it might look like. But let's see. I think this paragraph is becoming too big. Something's definitely too big, huh? 450. What do I have as a max? Oh, we zoomed in. Still looks too big though. Actually, kinda looks similar. The only difference I can see... I forgot to add bigger paddings. That's okay, we'll do that in a second. The gaps look correct, I think. So it's mostly the padding, and this text has a maximum width. And honestly, the maximum width is something like 325, let's say, yeah? Just gonna move that back over here, that back over here. Text container. Description, this is the one. So I'm gonna add a max width of 32.5 rem. Any device, anywhere you like. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Let's see. That's fine. Honestly, this looks okay. And the only thing we have to fix is text container. And we know that the padding will change basically. And we can just add it here. Padding. And let's just check because clearly I've already calculated this stuff. 4.5, 4.8, 4.8, 4.8. Alright. I did that in the opposite order, didn't I? This will be 8, this will be 5. Alright, now let's compare again. Zero. I'm just eyeballing it, by the way. It bothers me that there's still something off. Padding here, maybe? 2.5, 2.4, 2.5, 2.4. So this will be selected service container. We've got our padding. Just copy a media query. Copy that, service container. Okay, padding. Was it crap? 2.4 and 2.5? 2.5, 2.4. Okay. 2.4. Okay. I feel like we're getting closer. Figma. I'm gonna use Control. Not working for some reason. Whatever. There we go. Yeah, it looks somewhat similar. Looks very, very close. I wouldn't really complain if that's the thing someone delivered to me based on this design. Let's compare the mobile ones. Shall we? It'll be a bit easier, like that. 0. Also pretty close. I feel like I'm missing something. But overall, I think you get the gist. I just wanted to get across the main points, really. And what are the main points? Main point is this. Let's say when it comes to this text section here, right? I see a lot of people, like let's say to create the space between cancel order button and the bottom of this card, they would add some padding or some margin to this button. When the correct approach is to add the padding, quite literally, as here. 1 second. Can I not select that? The padding you can add to the text container itself, and that makes much more sense. Because the padding is supposed to affect the layout of the elements inside something. So in this case, text container is an element, and the elements inside of it are affected by the padding. They're squished, right? So if I turn on, reduce this padding or take it away, it's impacting the layout of the elements inside. So that's like, one of the main gists. The next one is just use gap, whenever you can. Just use tools that reduce your workload, so you don't have to set margins on every single class. Is there any other advice I would give? Learn grid and flex, obviously. These are just beautiful tools once you understand them. I don't understand grid fully, to be honest, and probably not even flex if you gave me a really in-depth questionnaire. A great resource for them is Kevin Powell. And if you have a bit of money, then I think Flexbox simplified course. I actually recommend this. If you're interested in actually learning more about Flex, then I would give Kevin some money. $37. So yeah, up to you. Absolutely up to you. Okay, actually I decided to do the background in the end. So I just changed the background color to my pale blue one over here, and I've already written the code. Yeah, so first thing we do, background image. I'm just going to use the desktop one. I know they give you mobile and desktop, but I don't care. So clearly this is wrong. So then we want to not repeat Y, but you can repeat X. And what that allows us to do, I'll show you. Show you. Voila. So the background is repeating itself along the X-axis. Very nice. Very useful. Believe it or not, I just learned that. Background size is fill. Don't really need this anymore, to be honest. That's okay. And background position top, just to be extra clear about it. Don't need that. We barely need top, but I'm gonna leave it in. Yeah, that covers that. And if we just, it's very nice. Everything's nice and responsive. Does it work in very small screens? Probably, because we did that 90% thing, if you recall. So check this out. So yes, that breaks, and of course I could add a media query. So when this becomes too small, the button is moved somewhere else. I'm not gonna do that for this card. It's not worth the time. But yeah, again, I hope this was somewhat helpful. Cheerio.